At AMT Vehicle Solutions, we buy, rent and lease cars, and today we've got a Model S 75 Tesla on demonstration just to see what it's like to spend a day with this car when you do a lot of mileage, and just to see what it feels like to be in this space. So, starting Henley-on-Thames, we're going to make our way to Glasgow, and let's see how we get on. So, the AMT Tesla test is underway, Henley to Glasgow. First thing, if you're considering a Tesla where there's no safety net, if you run out of battery, you stop, you need to be well planned. Last night, setting off with a supercharger locally to get it up to a full charge of approximately 240 miles on this model. We're underway. First thing you'll notice about it is it's got plenty of luggage space if you're doing some long journeys like I am this week. So you'll be rewarded in the cockpit and the boot and everything else you want to take with you. First of all, it's a nice ride. It's a good space to be in. This Model S Tesla will make you certainly plan your journeys. So a couple of ways you can pre-plan out where your charging stations are going to be on your route as we head from Henley to Glasgow. Or you can be well planned at home for some of that journey and get it plugged into the mains. But that's going to take the best part of a day on a trickle charge if you don't have much power at home to do that, versus the superchargers en route, which are littered up and down the service stations, taking as little as 1 hour to put a full charge back into your car. So despite setting off at a range of 240 miles, heading to Glasgow, we're most certainly going to have at least one stop, and the less we push the throttle, the further we'll go. One of the great features of this car is the Autopilot and adaptive cruise control. So quickly pull the stick back once and the adaptive cruise control will happily guide that distance to the car in front. But also when you're not on the motorway, it will stop the car and pull away for you, taking a lot of pain out of you don't even need pedals, to be fair, when you're operating in this car. And as we pull out from behind the inside lane, immediately it'll accelerate up to the speed desired. I think one of the great features of this car, through a double pull of the stick within the Autopilot, is it will steer for you as well. So this car, you have to trust it. But on this, only for motorway, you wouldn't want to be using this off the motorway, but it will happily cruise along and release the stress, and the car will now totally drive itself, including the steering. So, at AMT Vehicle Solutions, we're one of the largest purchasers of the Tesla. So it was only right to do a summary review of the long trip from Henley-on-Thames to Glasgow, to see whether you really could live with a battery-only powered car across such a long journey. So, starting at that £65,000 mark, you would expect obviously quite an executive feel to the car, and there is absolutely no question that it is that. So, once you've overcome the range anxiety of constantly looking at the gauge to see when your battery is going to be flat, it really is quite an addictive car to drive. So this is the Model S 75, which we found gave a range of approximately 240 miles on normal driving at that sort of 65-70 miles an hour. It's a big car, it's heavy, but apart from that, it's blisteringly quick. And the fact that the batteries are based around the low centre of gravity near the chassis, the actual roll of the car is pretty stiff, so you don't notice that it is such a heavy unit. So quick, yep, 0 to 60, just over 4 seconds actually. So it is supercar performance, yet can be used every day. The only difference is when you actually hit the throttle, there's zero lag like a combustion engine, so it's immediate, overtaking, super rapid. Just have to get used to the fact there's no noise that comes with it. Inside, it's beautifully put together. It's got great leather, but also you'll see the huge 17-inch screen. It's got excellent clarity, and in addition to that, unlike a lot of cars, there's no brake in the rear floor, so it's totally flat with no prop shaft or anything else, so with a four-wheel drive operating direct from motors. There's plenty of storage in the car, so space in the front, no engine of course, and a huge boot on it as well, so you'll get your golf clubs and everything else in the back. And I think one of the things that's totally addictive, or does take some getting used to, is the autopilot on the motorways. Not controlling anything, pedals or steering wheel, and it just feels perfectly safe and you can trust it. You won't feel that straight away. So on our journey from Henley to Glasgow, 380 miles, needed 2 superchargers in the services to get us there safely without running out of charge. Could you live with this over this kind of distance? I think you need to be incredibly well organised, and you need to plan your route and understand where those superchargers are, because they only take approximately an hour to fully charge the car. If you're not organised, you're going to find yourself in a bit of bother, and charging from home does take a long time, the best part of a day to get it fully charged. So is this the future? Yeah, absolutely it is, without a doubt. I think this will be the way forward, and you just need more infrastructure on the charging points to make that work correctly. So I hope that's been of some use. AMT, we provide these, as I've already said, whether you want to rent, lease or buy a Tesla, or in fact any other premium and specialist car, please contact us and we'll be able to help you out. Thanks for listening.